Watch this!
Okay, it's time for our third exercise for pull day. Now we've already done a pull down, we've done a pull over machine. This is actually like a pull down, it's just in a different plane. It's in a horizontal plane instead of a vertical plane, so it's good for variety. If you only have time for one or the other, just alternate which ones you use, but it's good to do both, at least on a somewhat regular basis. The same components stand true with this as they do with the pull downs. You're looking at seat position, arm position, and hand position. And what you're trying to do is basically bring the hands from in front of the body, or more importantly your elbows, to back behind the body. Okay, so the hands can come to your sides, but you really should be focusing on getting the elbows back behind you as far as they can. If I did this exercise and pulled it this way, it'd be more like a bicep exercise. What I'm trying to do is bring the elbows back behind me to work or to isolate the latissimus dorsi muscle. So I'm really trying to focus on the biggest muscles of the upper body. With seat position on this, there's two different settings. One that moves the chest pad forward and backwards. The other moves the seat pad up and down. So the first one we want to set is the chest pad. And what we're trying to do is set up the seat so that when your arms are fully extended, the weight stack is not touching. So if I was in a position where I was too far forward on this machine, and I brought my hands forward, I'm actually touching the weight stack. So the muscles not only aren't getting fully extended, I'm not working them through a full range of motion, but it's also relaxing the muscle. In between every repetition, the muscle's resting for a second, depending how long I leave it down. And if you have the chance to rest, usually you're going to leave it down as long as possible. So you want to be in a position that when your arms are fully extended, the weight stack is not touching. So I'm going to move back just a little bit, hold on to the handles once again, fully extend, and now you can see the weight stack is not touching. But you want to keep in mind that as you warm up, as you do a couple of repetitions, what happens, the muscles become more pliable, more flexible, and you may be able to increase your stretch and then touch the weight. So you really want to make sure that once you're warmed up and the muscles are pliable, that the weight stack is not touching. Now there's also a seat setting on this that allows your body to move up and down. And what you're trying to do is basically position your hands when they're at the top of the handles where you have the most leverage, that the hands will come back so the thumbs will touch the armpits, the mid-axillary line. That's going to give you the most strength, the most leverage, and it's not going to injure the shoulder joint. If you're high like this, you're going to impinge, and if you're down low, it throws off the angle. You're in the wrong plane. So I think I am set correctly. When I pull back like this, you can tickle yourself, you're in good shape. So that's kind of where I want to be as far as seat settings go. Now, as far as arm position, there's a couple of variety of hand grips here. You can hold on the inside, the top, or the outside. No hand position is truly wrong. They might be good for variety, but I want to use the one that's safest and gives you the most range of motion. If you use the outside handles and pull back like this, what happens is you just can't bring it back as far. Your elbows go out to the side, but you're not really getting a large motion. You're not getting a large range of motion on this. It's not involving as much muscle mass. If you use an inside grip like this, your elbows go from in front of the body almost completely back behind the body, so you're getting more range of motion, more muscle mass is involved. It's a better way of working the muscles in the upper back if you're only doing one set. So if you have time for multiple sets, maybe you can do a little variety, but the best bang for your buck is the medial handles, the inside handles with a neutral grip. Now as far as hand position, remember I said you can supinate the hand, have more strength in the bicep, and that allows you to work your back for a longer period of time. The problem with a supinated grip on this machine is that these are angled. So I wouldn't use this because it's just too much stress on the wrist joint. You're pulling mostly with the pinky and the ring finger. You're really not able to use as much of the muscle mass on the two strongest fingers, the middle finger and the forefinger. And it's just a very, very awkward position. Some machines may have a straight bar across. You may want to try that. I just think the most comfortable position on this is a neutral grip. This is a little more supinated on the outside, however, because you're so wide, it's not using the muscles to the best of their ability. On this one also, you want to have either your feet firmly planted. You definitely don't want to have one foot up on something and one down because it throws off the hips. You want to have both feet down symmetrically on the ground. You have to be sure though when you're pulling this back that you don't turn it into a lower back exercise. This is all upper back, biceps and rear delts. If I lean back, chest off the pad, and this happens a lot because you want to move the weights as far back as possible, that's all lower back. And it's really not a very good way of working the lower back muscles. You definitely don't want to strain those. So if anything, you want to keep your chest against the pad, firmly pressed against the chest pad, or have your feet down by your sides to kind of take that out of the equation. You have no option to push back with your feet. You want to make sure you don't use a weight that's too heavy on this. The actual pulling motion is a 4-step process. You're pulling and pinching the shoulder blades together first. You're actually retracting the scapula. You're pulling them together like you're trying to pinch something in your spine. So pretend somebody has fingers in your spine there, or have somebody do it to you. You want to pinch and almost put your chest out like you're proud. So a little bit of a humph type, little pride motion there. Hold it, so you're pulling back as far as you can without bending the elbows, and then bring your hands back to your shoulders, to your armpits, as far as you can. So it's not just doing like a bicep exercise like this. I could bring them back almost all the way, but it's all biceps. I'm trying to get my shoulder blades together and then my elbows back as far as they can without taking my chest off the pad. And slowly forward. Breathing, of course, is exhale when the weights are going up. And then slowly when the weights are going down, you can breathe normally. Inhale, exhale a couple of times. And that pull and pinch can go right to a pulling motion with the hands. It doesn't have to be separate movements, but you really want to think that way. Pull and pinch. And also be sure not to do a shoulder shrug. Don't lift your shoulders up. Keep them down and depressed when you're doing this. You want to be depressed while you exercise. Slowly forward. And one down at a time, just to protect the lower back and the fingertips. And that is it for the compound horizontal row. We're on to our next exercise. That's the bicep curl, an actual direct isolation motion for the beach muscles.